Okay, hey guys. Welcome once again to the Love Tribe. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and be a part of the tribe, be a part of the movement, connecting mental health with spiritual health. The development of one relies on the development of the other. The mind, body, soul connection is not just a cute little thing that we say, it really does play an effect on how we see our life and how we live our life. So today I want to talk about a continuing topic from my last clip. On my last clip, I talked about victim mindset with you guys, and today I want to talk about victim mindset from a perspective um, of how it makes you stuck. And being stuck doesn't necessarily mean that you're not doing things in life and you're not experiencing things in life. Yeah, you could be traveling, you could be having a successful career. However, there is sectors of your life that are struggling, and whatever those sectors are, only you know. I will speak from a personal experience and from experiences that I've had with clients that I've life coached. Usually, what I've seen and what I've witnessed is that they'll do really good in the superficial parts of life, but in the parts of life that require intimacy, into me, I see. It requires you to not just see into yourself, but to share that genuinely with someone. They struggle with that because those are the parts of life that are a little bit more deeper. They require more depth. The only way that it's not going to require that is if you're dealing with very superficial people that like to stay at the surface and don't necessarily want to really build a connection because they don't even know how to build one or what one is, you know? And then that begs the question, then can you actually have a true, genuine relationship? Like, people are just basically having connections and relationships with other individuals that don't see them for who they are. Hence why we live in a culture of people always going for options or thinking they have options that they can go for, when the reality is they realize that those options are worthless. And at some point in life, um, they themselves are the ones that just kept themselves in a mindset that kept them stuck in superficial ways of being. So the victim mindset is definitely fear based. I talked about, fear being the guiding source of that in my last clip. And if you want to know what I had to say, just go to my podcast channel here, and you could definitely see the last clip that I posted on that. But today I want to talk about how victim mindset has definitely puts you in a perspective of and I'm looking at my notes here, guys. Like I jot down things that come to me, like, I don't know, like esoteric downloads that the divine gives to me, along with the psychology background that I have, and along with the experiences I have, not just personal, but also people I've coached in life. Um, Victim mindset will have you stuck in weakness because it perpetuates the belief of not being good enough. It perpetuates the belief of not being worthy of better, and it gets you stuck in beliefs, whatever those beliefs are. If you believe that you can only achieve a certain point or get to a certain level or be a certain person, you'll be stuck in that. That's victim mindset. Um, it's a result of victim mindset as well. People that experience this, a belief of not being good enough, a belief of not being worthy of better, and a belief of like just being stuck. This is all I can be. Um, is a result of victim mindset. But having those beliefs can also cause you to live as a victim in your own life. So, what can cause these situations? Definitely past, your past experiences, all the evidence that you collect from those past experiences that will have you believing that moving forward is just going to be the same thing. Or like, why try? I was reading this beautiful story from, well, not a story, it was his actual life, from a client that was basically explaining to me, um, in our because I have a get to know you component to how I coach people sometimes. And if they can't speak their story to me, then I ask them to write it. And he had written this breakdown where basically he explained how he would rather have, moving forward in his life, relationships that are comfortable as opposed to relationships that are deep, you know um, and I asked him to elaborate a little bit more on that. Sorry, I had to cough. I asked him to elaborate a little bit more on that, and what he explained to me in that conversation, or in that, back and forth writing. He explained that what he meant is that he would rather have relationships that are comfortable and convenient in terms of like provide some kind of warmth in his life, as opposed to a relationship that will provide some kind of like immense depth and awakened passion. And I asked him, why do you feel that way? And he said to me, or he wrote to me back in an email, it has a lot to do with the fear of experiencing a disappointment and a big heartbreak, because I had that in my past. I already lived that. I don't want to live that again. I'm at a stage in my life where I feel like if that happens, I don't think I can handle it. And I was like, wow. So you would forego the experience of deeper connection, deeper love, simply because of your fear that you're going to be disappointed, like it hasn't even happened. And he couldn't reply. He couldn't reply. He hasn't been able to reply to me yet. So let's see how that goes, right? And this all has to do with a person being basically stuck in the past, using past evidence to justify future outcomes. That will keep you in victim mindset. That will keep you as a victim as opposed to a hero. When you write yourself in your own life as a hero, you will actually not care about past evidence. You can't care about past evidence. Past evidence is really good to a point, to an extent. But even in science, of all the evidence that you collect, there's always empirical evidence, the most important evidence. So, of everything that you've lived in your life, you cannot use all of it as evidence of it will always be that way. What are the most important pieces of that? Because even in the relationship that disappointed you and broke your heart, I'm pretty sure you had really good, amazing experiences there. Wouldn't you want to live that again? 9 times out of 10, when I ask clients questions like that, the answer is yes. I want to live that again. I want to feel passion like that again. I want to feel my heart beating like that again in life, whether it's for a relationship or for a job, for a career, for, I don't know, hobbies, or even just feel like that again about yourself. I remember I had an episode in life where for a decade I was so focused in a particular outcome for something that I was doing, in relationship to my daughter, and legal measures were involved, that I was basically engulfed with that for such a long time. I had forgotten how exciting of a person I was. I had literally forgotten how I like to just lay down and look at the clouds, the shape of the clouds, and just daydream. I had forgotten how excited I would be to just dress up and go out just for myself. Like I forgot to appreciate myself. And it had nothing to do with me just thinking less of myself. It had to do with I had a responsibility, which was a child that needed me to do something to protect them. So I had to put myself on the back burner. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. I did not have time to sit there and be like, why me? Why did this happen to me? Now, of course, I cried alone many a nights. I had experiences, of days, weeks, months that no one would know that even like depression was happening. Yes. And that's why I could speak from a place of knowledge of victim mindset, not just from people I've coached, but I've actually been through those waters. And when you've been through those waters, you can tell people the tricks of how to swim in them or navigate in them. And that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm here for you. And I'm doing this in a way that is totally free. You don't have to pay me or pay another coach to come into your life and do this. You can watch this from the comfort of your home right now on this YouTube channel, and you're going to get this, okay? And I'm sorry that the image is so grainy, but I'm still like learning how to deal with the cameras myself. When I don't have my production guy, I pretty much do my own recording. And I know it kind of sucks, but hey, you're still getting the message, right? And half of you probably turn off the video anyway and just listen to it on audio, because of the features YouTube has nowadays. You don't even have to watch the video fully, which is great. If you subscribe to YouTube, and have their membership, I recommend it. That's totally cool, great. You can play it anywhere, anytime, whether it's on or off, doesn't matter. But let's get back to talking about victim mindset. So I could talk about it because I've been there. I'm speaking from a place of experience. And yes, I didn't have time to sit there and be like, why me? Why did this happen to me? Because I had a child that depended on me. So I had to quickly put my shoes on, my big girl pants on, and get to action, right? But what I realized is that after all that was said and done, I had literally forgotten that I forgot that I existed. I'm not going to lie. And then I started to realize the following. It was thoughts of like, well, who would want to be with me? Who would want to have it? Who would want to share any space with me? I've been through this, I've been through that. My mind is not in the right place because of the sadness I've encountered that has remained with me. Like, I honestly didn't feel like I deserved great things, not because I didn't value me, but because for a decade, I was in a miserable emotional state. So then I started to live as if that was my normal, that was my default. My brain had trained me to believe that that was life. It took me training myself out of that and spiritual development to get me out of that, for me to realize and awaken the self-worth and love again. It was there, it was just buried. That's the other thing. Don't think that you don't have it for yourself. You have self-worth, you have self-love. It's there, it's just buried. And we're going to unbury it by realizing that victim mindset doesn't work for you. It's sabotaging, it's putting limitations on your life, it's keeping the past present in your life. And if those are the things you want out, like you want to get those things out, think of yourself like a house. What do you want to take out of your house right now? Because I could tell you what you should take out of your house. You should take out of your house your past. That should be out. If you don't use it for over a year, you haven't needed it for over a year, you who don't have a desire to even touch it because it doesn't even go with you anymore, and it's been almost a year, out. It needs to be out of your house being yourself, out. Limitations. What limitations do you have? Like, what limitations do you put on yourself of who you are, of what you can do, what you can accomplish? Forget how your body is physically, forget how you are internally, and even forget how you are mentally. Just what are some of the limitations that you actually put on yourself that you know deep down you want to get rid of? Well, let's put them in a box to start getting rid of them. Let's put them in a box to start getting rid of them. Is a limitation that, oh, I'm just an office worker, or oh, this is all I've accomplished, or oh, a decade of this did so much damage to me that now I have to start from zero again. But I could never get to that point again because now I don't have enough time to make it. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the I don't have enough, I can't do it. Let's get rid of limitations. You cannot argue for your limitations because then you're basically trying to make excuses for them to stay. No, we're putting them in a box because they're going to be leaving. Another thing that we should be getting rid of our house is what I like to call sabotage of self. Stop sabotaging yourself. Because when you sabotage yourself, you are not going to allow yourself to enjoy anything good that comes into your life. Because you are going to literally come from a place of fear. And you're going to sabotage everything that's good. You're even going to sabotage lovely moments with your loved ones. You're going to sabotage everything, And sabotage is like setting things on fire. Why would you want to set good things on fire? If something is good, why would you want to set it on fire? Think about it. If a person is good in your life, why do you want to set that connection on fire? If a job, a career has made you satisfied, content for so many years, why do you want to set it on fire? Because the world says that you shouldn't be stuck in a job, or that, oh, you're just doing this, you're just a teacher, or oh, you're just an office worker, you're just an administrator, you're just a secretary, you're just a vice president, or oh, your company's doing great, but who cares? Your company is only this much compared to other companies. Why are you sabotaging yourself? You need to be proud of your own accomplishments and achievements. And also, you need to realize that the universe has placed you exactly where you're supposed to be. And when I say universe, to me, I mean God. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Like, when I say exactly, I mean, there is no doubt that even if you were to reroute your own self, and there's a story in the Bible about that. Jonah did that. He rerouted himself. He was trying to reroute himself, and he ended up in a whale. Like, you're still going to end up in the place where you're supposed to go anyway. So why are you sabotaging what's good for you? And even if you sabotage it, please know the feelings of wanting to go back around to correct it, or go back around, I don't know, to just change it, is going to happen. It happened to me. It definitely happened to me. Even though I wasn't fully in the wrong for the situation that I dealt with for 10 years, I still ended up being the person that went back around to apologize and make things right. Why? Because in order In order for you to want validation for you being a victim, you have to validate that you have made others a victim. You can't just walk around with a why me mentality and not acknowledge that maybe you have caused other people to walk around with why me? Why did they do that to me? So if you want validation, you have to give validation. And it all starts with you giving it. You can't wait for other people to do that for you. I mean, yes, what I'm saying may cause a person to approach you now and, validate you. Yes, that's great if that happens. But I will tell you this, why are you going to sit around and wait? Heroes don't wait, they act. A hero doesn't sit down and, twiddle their thumbs thinking about the past and just, isolating themselves from the world. They act, they set forth an action. Action changes things, movement makes things happen. Stepping in confidence, stepping in faith alters a situation. But staying where you're at, doing nothing, letting things remain as they are, that's going to make you feel stuck as hell. And then you're going to not only are you going to sabotage something, you're going to leave it sabotaged. You're going to stay in the past. It doesn't matter how many experiences you might have. You're going to keep reliving the same cycle, the same pattern, because life has a funny way of bringing in a couple of outliers into your path. And outliers are good because outliers give you an opportunity to experience something different. Sometimes an outlier can be a person, a thing, or an experience, and they happen to get you off your sabotage course. Not to get you off the course that should make you happy, to get you off your own sabotaging course. But you know what we do as humans? Because we like what's comfortable, like my client was telling me in this communication, that they rather have what makes them comfortable in a relationship than what makes them feel deep and passionate and in love. When you forego the outliers and you don't pay attention to them, or you simply just veer off that track, you stay in what's comfortable, because that's what humans like to do. They like to stay with what they know. But human beings are also the following. In the course of all the existence of humanity, humans have also sought new territory, new lands. Not all of them like what's comfortable. A lot of them liked to seek out adventure. And the ones that did that are the ones that propagated the human existence we have on the planet today. So if everyone that was a human in ancient times stayed where they were at, we wouldn't have humanity spread around the world as we do. So what kind of human are you? Are you one that lives in the cave? Or are you one that's adventurous enough to step forward and stop living in the what if, and this is what happened in the past, and this is all I can be, and I'm not worth anything better than what I've always had, and if I do get something better, it's too good to be true, I shouldn't even have it. What? Like, what? Recognize that if the universe is giving you something that you've never had before that is great, I don't think that's something that you should be brushing off to the side, because rare doesn't come around often. Rare events in your life don't happen often, you know? Just the other day, I had an amazing experience. I was celebrating my 8 years of renewed life, because 8 years ago I had a car crash. I was killed. I was dead for 20 minutes and I was resuscitated. And I met a friend at a restaurant where I went to have a drink just to celebrate by myself, right? And my favorite dessert at Bakery and Grill in the Hard Rock. And I met this guy that sat next to me, total friendship vibe, and he was talking, and he invited me to go with him to the bar across the street. It has a better view. I was tired. I said, "No, I'm not going to go." He insisted. I said, "You know what? Yeah, I'll go." That was a rare moment. Rare because I wasn't supposed to go to that place to begin with to celebrate anything, but I decided last minute to go, to take myself out. And then rare because I accepted to go along with someone that I had just met, just to go see the view from the bar across the street. When I got there, I ended up bumping into someone that I hadn't seen in 13 years that gave me a piece of information that I needed to set my heart at ease. If I had not taken advantage of that rare moment and just took it as, whatever, let me just go home, it's better. Again, sabotaging the possibility of something different. Again, not inviting newness into my life. I would not have had that information. I would have not reconnected with those friends of mine they're lovely friends of mine. I love them dearly, you know? So you have to acknowledge what's rare when it's happening and not brush it to the side just because you think you're not worthy enough. Okay. Not only was I worthy to go enjoy that other place across the street with amazing views and amazing drinks and even better music, but I got in as a VIP guest because once I got there, I realized one of my dear friends actually worked there. So he ended up escorting me inside, which was amazing. Now imagine if I had said no to that invitation that happened by chance. Okay. So I wrote down some thoughts related to this, and I just want to share with you a couple of them. That in order to look at evidence in an objective way when it comes from the past, you have to keep in mind that some of it is important and some of it is not. The important pieces are empirical. The ones that are not, you have to just they're irrelevant. How do you use past experience in relationships and jobs and things that happen to you that are negative? How do they fit into now moving forward? They fit into now moving forward to help you have a more sharpened discernment, but they should not be the reason why you keep yourself stuck. They should not be the reason why you say no. If you're going to say no to something or if you're going to stop something, let it be because something specifically now is taking place that is causing that to happen. You should never say no or stop something from happening because of past horrible experiences. Because past horrible experiences, they can kind of give you like an expect like a hypothetical expectation, but hypothetical expectation, even in science, hypotheses when they're tested, 90% of those hypotheses are always proven wrong. And usually scientists end up discovering something different, or they end up inventing something completely opposite to what they initially started studying. So even like hypotheticals based on past evidence are not fully accurate. So it's time that you start considering the fact that your past evidence may actually be fooling you into being stuck. So you got to look at it as the opposite. So, all the past evidence cannot indicate future outcomes. It can only serve as proof of what you overcame. That's another thing I wrote down. Past evidence is not about outcome, it's about what did you overcome. If you overcame that, then anything that happens moving forward that could be like that, which I don't believe it's ever going to be worse, it can only be the same or better, then you're definitely going to be able to overcome as well, you know? So past evidence is proof of what you overcome. But to enable newness in life, we must embrace the opportunities to collect new evidence. Just like in science, you need new evidence to prove the theories of today. If the new evidence shows something different, we alter, we change the theories. We don't stick to the same theory. And humans all around the world, and the ones that I've coached, they're sticking to theories from past experiences with evidence from those past experiences, even though when the present is showing them totally opposite. The present can be showing you, for instance, that you are getting a promotion, or that people trust your leadership, or that your loved ones actually value you immensely, or that you're finally in a relationship with someone that adores you. Present is showing you that. But because of past evidence and the theories of the past, you will actually not believe any of that. You will not trust it. You will not trust the people. You will not trust the connection. You will not trust the promotion. You will not trust yourself in the promotion. You will not trust the loved ones that actually value you at the leadership level, at the impactful level, you know? And you will sabotage everything. So you have to basically embrace the opportunities to collect new evidence that will serve as empirical pieces that show another outcome. You have to allow newness to get a different outcome. You can't go based on old outcomes because you're today moving forward. You're not today moving backwards. You're not living in your past. You're moving in your life to live in your future, you know? A better, happier, newer, and maybe even prosperous outcome may take place. So, victim mindset will not allow this if you choose to stay there. So, it's time to adapt. You have to adapt to a hero mindset. We have to go from victim, which is the past, to hero mindset. And how you make that adaptation, how does that happen? You have to choose it. no one is going to make it happen for you. Even if you commission me as your life coach to come and sit with you on a one-on-one, and for me to basically indoctrinate this into you regularly in our sessions, unless you actually choose to do it on your own when you're by yourself, it doesn't matter how many times I tell you that the hero mindset is going to work better for you than the victim one. You may still choose to be a victim, and you may not realize subconsciously you are living in that pattern. So, you know, you have to choose it. Okay, so if you commit to adapting and sticking with it, sticking with the hero mindset, you will become that. You will become the hero in your own story, in your own life. You know, um, you will become who you are. You will become who you are. And who are you trying to become? A hero. I want to be a hero in my story, a hero in my life. I don't want to be a victim. What? I'm not going to let circumstances in my life dictate what is and isn't possible anymore. I'm going to be a hero in the story of my life. As a spirit living a physical experience, I'm going to live as a hero in it. It's time that you start taking that mentality, not just to heart, but to how you move in your life, you know? So then guess what? When you do that, you're basically going to attract exactly who you are, because in life you don't attract what you want. You don't attract your desires just by desiring them. You attract who you are. And if you go on any manifestation channel and look up any manifestation or law of attraction video or whatever that is, you're going to see that all the attraction has to do with getting who you are. You have to be that first. You want to attract the hero, you need to be a hero. You want to attract someone or a circumstance that has you in a position where you're a leadership, you have to be a leader. You have to already be what you want to attract. Again, I haven't necessarily done a clip on this or a video on this on how life coaching started for me and some of those experiences along the journey in the 8 years. But I will tell you this, I never looked for it. But as I developed myself from my near-death experience and then the spiritual development that came forward as a result of that, I started seeing myself as a leader in my life, as the commander in my life, because of who I was walking with, which to me is God. So since I started living in that mindset, and that started to become my default, because the rubble that was on top of me that hid my self-love and value for a very long time was finally getting off, I started to attract people who needed that, people who needed that coaching, that guidance. You know, I became that coach without even looking for it. You attract who you are. You attract the circumstances based on who you are. You attract the situation based. You attract who you are, not what you want. So if you want to attract people that are heroes, if you want to attract a partner that is a kick-ass person, you have to be that first. Or else you're just going to attract someone that's kick-ass, but unfortunately you're going to be stuck in something that's not great, and you're just going to bring the other person down. It's not going to work. The dynamic's not going to work, because even if you try to make it work, the other person's not going to want to stick around. Same with situations. Situations could be familial, situations could be work related, or could be a project you're doing. It has to be genuinely who you are. It can't be, you can't force it. You can't force it on outside circumstances. You have to change it within. So even if you don't um, attract people, let's say the point of doing this is not attracting others, or it's not attracting a circumstance, you have some pretty good setups already in life. Well, guess what? You'll develop resilience. And resilience is something that definitely will be your strength every time life gets too hard. Resilience is something you need, not just at the mental health level, but at the spiritual level. Resilience for me was what allowed me to basically just shake off the painful events that were emotionally not just draining, but emotionally breaking, emotionally heartbreaking. I eventually got to a point where I realized you can become so resilient that when hardships come, when hurt comes, or when disappointment comes, even though, yes, you feel it, you also tear up about it, cry about it, but you can still carry on your life. You can still find joy in things in life. You know, I could still be here with you sharing this, because trust me, I have a life. I have things that have been disappointing. I have things that have, broken my heart as of recent. But resilience doesn't allow you to stay stuck in that vibe. Resilience kind of like wakes you up and like, hey, yeah, like we feel that exists. It's in the depth of our mind. But guess what? It's not who we are. It's not who we are. Why is it not who we are? Because look at what you overcame. So this is when you look at the past, not as evidence of like, oh, well, it always goes wrong for me. This is when you look at the past, like, oh yeah, if I overcame that and now this is happening, oh yeah, well, who cares? Like, I'll just get over it anyway. Like, who cares? Life is more valuable than that. Peace, joy, contentment, which are all your responsibility, are more valuable than that. They're more valuable than being in like, oh, well, why me? Why did this take place with me? It always happens like that. Or, you know, I must do something to change the circumstance. No, you don't. Change yourself, boo boo. Work on yourself. Work on you being a hero. Work on you loving yourself. Work on you appreciating what you have as you have it. Because there's no such thing as building a better you. There is a such thing as building a stronger, more mentally healthier and spiritually healthier you. Yes, but not better. This concept of better, it just makes people think that you have to achieve some level of perfection that is really hard. It's not better, because the way you are right now, if right now you want to change, that's all that matters. That you want to do it and you're going to apply something to it. You're going to apply something forward to get that change happening, to get that change in motion. So already better is happening. It's not like a future finding that you're going to have like, oh yeah, I'm going to, 10 months from now, that's where my better me is. No, no, no. It's process. Process reveals potential. You have to do the process, and the process can be one thing at a time, a very tiny thing at a time. In my last clip, I invited people to, if they have to make a decision or a choice, or if something happens where, for instance, they're stuck between a yes and a no, pick the opposite of what your default normally is. If your default normally is to choose something out of fear because you're afraid it's not going to turn out right, or if your default usually is to say no, say yes. Like me with the friend at the bar where I said yes and I went to the other place, and yes, the view was amazing, the music was way better, the vibe was better, the people were better, and then I ended up finding a friend from 13 years ago that had been in my prayers all of these years, and I just lost track. I didn't know where they were. I didn't have their contact. Social media, I don't even know what the social media is, because I said yes. I said the opposite of my fear. And anytime I've done that, I've only proven my theory to be right. Every time I've done the opposite of my fear, I've proven my theory to be right. Of when you say, when you do opposite of what you are afraid of, the outcome is always better. And the anxiety that you feel from it is way better than the anxiety of saying no. Because the anxiety of saying no results in regret and remorse. And why didn't I do that? Or who knows? It could just be a feeling of like, well, damn, like I missed out on something. Now, I have one final thing I want to say because I wrote this down. I said that resilience will be your strength anytime life gets too hard, yes. And that is definitely way worth more than living stuck because of what happened years ago that you cannot change anymore. One of the biggest reasons why you have to shift from victim mindset to a hero mindset is because you cannot go back in the past and change anything anymore. You can't. You could think it over. You can ponder about it. You can have memories of it, the good ones and the bad ones, but you can't change the outcome anymore. Let it go. Be grateful that the outcome was the way it was. It definitely opened up something within you. It opened up space for you to get rid of the rubble that is basically hiding your self-love and your self-worth and your self-admiration and appreciation. Let it go. It's time to drop it and let it go. And put on the cape, the Superman cape, and be the Superman in your story. Be the hero in your story. Every single person listening here has the capability of doing that. I get tongue-tied because I also get emotional because I not only coach people on this, I've lived this. I've had to tell myself, looking in the mirror many a times, just put your hero clothes on. Put the cat suit on, put the leather pants on, whatever it is. I love leather pants. I have a passion for fashion. What can I say? But to me, yes, it is put your hero clothes on, your hero wear, and seize the day. Seize the day. Seize the day as a hero. Don't seize the day as a victim. Be proud of yourself. Don't let anyone come into the circle of your space that's going to take value from you. If you allow them in the circle of your space and they are taking value from you, then distance yourself from them. Distance yourself from that situation. And sometimes distancing yourself will require you to look at the situation, even if it's like right in front of you, as if you're not in it. Being present is great. It's important. Value the now. Value the today going forward. Yes, it's very valuable. However, sometimes you have to unpresent yourself. Why? Because if it's a situation that's taking away your value and you know who you are, and that who you are now is a hero, not a victim, I'm not going to process that. I'm not going to absorb that. Why? Because I'm not dropping my value. Why is that? I'll go back to what I wrote here because I want to say it exactly like I said it in the beginning. Why am I not dropping my value? Because I don't want to live with the wounds that fester from the past. I don't want to accept limitations anymore about who I am because it's not true. I am changing. I'm not the same person. I've adapted. And I don't want to sabotage myself anymore. I don't want to sabotage myself. The only thing I want to sabotage, no, I don't want to sabotage myself. I don't. I'm afraid of roller coasters. Not afraid, like consciously afraid. My body just has a negative reaction to roller coasters, even though my mind, like I love to go on a roller coaster and have fun, right? Because I love adrenaline rushes. Racing motorcycles was a passion for me for a long time. But my body just reacts like it's gonna die. So I can't do roller coasters. So I do at times for my loved ones. I don't allow that to sabotage the fun moment. I'll try to go on and I'll go on. I'll say no to fear, yes to doing it. And I'll experience, yeah, like the near death sensations of my body, but I know it's not going to happen. Like I'm not going to die. It's just my body is giving me that reaction. It's giving me the illusion of it. My mind knows we're having fun. So no, don't sabotage yourself. So this message right now is an extension of the victim mentality. Getting out of the victim mentality. What can I replace with it? Being a hero. Think of your favorite hero. Be like that, okay? If you have to, watch your hero story. Watch the story of your favorite hero. Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, Thor, whatever Marvel character or DC comic you like. Watch the story of that hero if that's your hero. Blue Beetle, Black Panther, watch it. Watch the trajectory of their life to get to the point of being that hero. You have to drop the past. You cannot live in the past. You cannot sabotage and you cannot limit yourself. Also, because when you're a hero, you don't got time for that. Why? Because you're too high on your abilities of being renewed and adapted and better. You're up here. You can no longer be looking at yourself down here as if that's who you are anymore. You don't accept that version of yourself anymore. And who cares if people come to you and they remind you of that version of yourself? It's time that you remind them, I've adapted. That's not me anymore. And those people sometimes can be your loved ones. And that's okay. Don't allow other people's limitations to be the limitation you put on yourself, because you don't do that anymore. Don't allow the world to keep your past, your limitations, and your self-sabotage awaken you. Shut it up. Turn it off. You control that. You control that. Yes, you do. Look at yourself in the mirror. Acknowledge how amazing and how wonderful and creative and beautiful and wonderfully made that you are. You were not designed by mistake. You were not placed in a place either by mistake. Be grateful for the life you have. Admire the individual you are today. And keep on changing your default from today moving forward. So in this video, I invite you to do the following. The last video was about doing the opposite of what fear is telling you. In this video, I think of your life as a story. Write down a couple of bullet points from your past. Just write them down. Write down the bullet points of who you want to be moving forward. who you are today moving forward. Just who you are. And then compare them. Which ones do you want to cross off? The past or the future? It's up to you. It's a choice. And if you don't want to sabotage the wonderful things the future is bringing in for you, then I don't know, but hint, hint, maybe you should be crossing off the past ones and keeping the future ones on your list, buddy. Or lovely people, my love tribe people. Okay, so what is today's homework? You're going to write a double-sided bullet point list. It could just have 3 things from the past that happened to you, 3 things of your future you. Which ones do you want to keep? If you want to keep the past ones awake and revisiting them and constantly thinking about them and living in that, the future ones are not going to come in. In order for the future ones to come in, the present moving forward to come in, to exist today, you have to cancel out the past. And that's why I say it's your choice. You know, it's your choice. You can change a lot of your past simply by accepting a future version of you that's better and aiming to be that person and acting and behaving as that person. A lot of times people struggle with that because in order to cancel out things from the past or to not accept them anymore, you may have to make some apologies. You may have to go back, I don't know, retract your steps, right some wrongs. It's worth it. Like I said earlier in the clip, it took me having to apologize for things that I did to validate another in order to be validated for what they did to me. You cannot get what you want if you're not willing to also give it. In this life, unfortunately, people don't understand that. Everybody wants what they want. Everyone's selfish. Everyone looks for their convenience, but they forget that you can't get what you want unless you are also willing to do that. So like if I want someone to give me 100, I should be willing to give 100. If I want, I don't know, if I want the universe to provide something for me, am I a person who does that also? Whatever that is, you know? So we're going to make that list. You don't have to post it here. You can DM me if you want. Find me on Love Tribe 143 on Instagram, or look at the show more so that you can find my email. And if you want to commission me to be your coach, trust me, it's not only worth it because it's me, but it's worth it because you're worth it. Working on you is worth it. And working on you doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It just means that we're adapting. We're remolding you to be the version you already were, but that life kind of screwed up because of all the things that happened to you. Well, that can be fixed. That can be changed. That could be taken away, polished, and the beautiful, shiny, gorgeous you can come out again. And you could be excited about yourself. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. This has been Love Tribe with Carla B. I can't wait to hear your feedback. I love you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share if you can, and subscribe to my channel, please. As I'm trying to grow my channel, I'm able to do a lot more and reach a lot more people and help a lot of individuals that unfortunately they can't commission my services, or they can't afford a coach or even therapy, but they definitely need it. And right here, I can provide that for you step by step and remind you that it's not about working to be a better person. It's about accepting that the better you already is there. We just gotta adapt it, move forward so that we have new defaults. Away with the victim, hello with the hero. Thanks for watching, guys.